Yeah, I'm Black Snake. Yeah, black cloak, black skin. Walk the hall, they whispering. Cauldron bubble, I'm different. Dark eyes don't flinch, just glimmering. House points, man, miss me. Came from pain, they history. Same blood, they fear, they diss me. But they copy my brew, still sip me. Side eye from the portraits. Cold stone, but my soul scorched. They ain't teach where I'm from. Had to learn from the alleys and the torch. Half prince in the world that hate. Half rage in the narrow gate. Half hood in the castle gate. Homie, never run from
Black snake, walking through the dark. One day my hand and a X in my heart. Turn that fear to a spell, then I spark. Yeah, I've been cursed from the start. Black snake.
They talk war in the streets. I see more than they see in the tower. Drive by, man, I glide by stealth. Broomstick, bring stone, cold shower. I ain't glorified shots, that's great. That's moms in black, that's wage. Of boys that ain't make old age. So I ain't my rage at the cage.
Walking through the dark. One day my hand and a X in my heart. Turn that fear to a spell, then I spark. Yeah, I've been cursed from the start. Black snake.
What is up, you fucks? I'm gonna work on the timing of that a little bit better. I shouldn't be delayed, but it shows me as delayed. Anyway, hope you enjoyed that video. Shout out to Perry Chan who made that edit. It's been pretty fucking viral. So, yeah. We talked about Black Snape a little bit last time. I think that came out right before or right the same time as we were doing the Doom Scroll cast or Doom Scroll, I should say. And yeah. So we thought that was going to be the worst thing that happened as far as movies and TV goes, right? We thought that was going to be the worst possible outcome. But it turns out we had something even worse happen. We had the announcement of Stephen Colbert's Lord of the Rings. And we're going to get into that. I made a video already out about that. Yeah. It's kind of the worst idea that you could imagine. You can't go home again. Not for things like Lord of the Rings. You can't even go home again for things like Harry Potter, and the trailer ratio on the Harry Potter trailer definitely proves that. If you go look at it, last I saw, it was sitting at, it wasn't ratioed, but it was sitting at like 255,000 likes to like 215,000 dislikes, which is way too close for a long-term, monumental, costly project that Warner Brothers needs to be a home fucking run. Yeah, not good. What else are we gonna talk about today? We're gonna talk about the Supergirl trailer came out. Probably gonna watch that, see what that dog shit is like. Millie Alcock has been running her mouth, yapping about, I don't know, coping basically. Already, we're already coping about the treatment of women in Supergirl, right? What else we got? The Masters of Universe trailer came out. We'll probably take a look at that. From what I'm told, it's pretty good. I did see it peripherally online. Not really paid attention. I'm gonna be real honest. I'm not a massive He-Man guy. He-Man was before my time and a little bit more niche for me to get into. It's funny enough, my wife grew up around He-Man more just because like her stepdad was big into He-Man when he was a kid. So like just through osmosis you got that. But I know He-Man a little bit. And I don't know. The little bit that I saw looked okay. And the general sentiment is fairly positive around it. We'll take a look at that too. The the reviews are out for Super Mario Galaxy movie, and the critics are just we're gonna take a look at that and ask if it's bullshit or not. Then what else we got here? Assassin's Creed fan accounts are pulling April Fool's pranks. We got there is a detail in the Supergirl trailer that it's interesting. Kingdom Come Deliverance devs Warhorse, they never shy away from controversy, and the product that they put out is really good. However, some of the things they and Daniel Vara, the head of Warhorse Studios, some of the things that they say are they're something, because I think the latest controversies, they came out in favor of DLSS 5, which is an idea. So, but apparently they are working on a Lord of the Rings game, and we'll talk about that a little bit maybe too. Oh, we got so much. Oh, and let's not bury the lead. We've reached $1,000 PlayStations, everybody. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, dude. Let's see. Did that not work? Let's see here. Let's see if the noises work. That's weird. Hello? My soundboard just like crashed on me. Are any of you hearing this? Hello? There we go. My mic is working at least. Wake up. I don't know. Oop. That was weird. I don't know. My soundboard is not working, but fuck it. We'll do it live. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and bring it up. So what's the first thing we want to talk about here? What's the first thing? Let's just dive into fuck it. I got at the top of the list here, I got Super Mario Galaxy movie. By the way, bit of a mouthful of a title. I think it should have just been the Mario Galaxy movie. I think people would have known what the fuck you're talking about if you just named it that. So, let's take a look here. All right. So, let's zoom in. I'm in the gaming position. Move me down here. That's where I like it. Okay. Super Mario Galaxy movie debuts with 46% on Rotten Tomatoes, lower than the first film. Well, yeah. And actually, it always depends on like what exact time they decide to say debuts with, because I've seen like this actually down as low as like 43%. So, it depends on, what time they do it, but yeah, in general, you would look at this and you would say, not good, right? This seems pretty terrible. Even though a lot of Super Mario fans are actually really, really excited for this, and actually, they had the announcement that Fox McCloud from the Star Fox games is going to be in the movie as well. From everything that's said, thing is chock full of Easter eggs again for big Nintendo fans. And, I think they could have a winner here. It's just the first movie. I said it with the first movie. I'll say it with this. I'll say it again here. The first movie was good. mostly because it was putting just a faithful adaptation of Mario on screen. That's it. That's all you had to do. Put a faithful adaptation of Mario on screen. Give a generic hero story. They did. It worked. It was great. And actually, the more I've seen it, and like have rewatched it because I have a kid and I showed it to my kid and she really loved it, so she wanted to watch it. Anybody knows that anybody who has kids and knows that if you show a child a movie, you're going to have to show them that movie for like the next 3 weeks straight. Maybe longer if they really like it, because it starts a phase. Kids go through movie arcs, okay? And she went through a phase where she wanted to watch the Mario movie all the time. And the more I watched it, actually, the more I liked it. I will say I still am in the camp that they can't do what they did the first movie. They got to give us something more story-wise. And I'm not sure from everything that I've read and heard about it that we're going to get that. I think it's more of what the first film was, which is probably good, and it's still going to make a fuck ton of money. Like, it's going to make all of the money because families are going to take their kids to go see it. Fucking Nintendrones are going to come out in droves for this movie. You can absolutely expect that. Like, the movie's going to do well. It's going to make $1 billion+ probably. Hell, the thing might make $500 million domestic because there's not a bunch of massive competition out for it right now, if I'm being honest either. I mean, you got Project Hail Mary, which Project Hail Mary is doing really well. I don't know if it's in the same realm as this in terms of marketability. It's based off of a novel that is a science fiction novel that I think not a ton of normies have read. Normies know Mario, okay? Normies have a cultural experience with Super Mario Brothers, okay? So this is definitely going to get the normies to come out in droves, as well as the Nintendrones, as well as the families looking for a child-safe movie. So yeah, it's still going to do numbers. But yeah, sitting at a 44% right now on Rotten Tomatoes, 79 reviews, which isn't a whole ton. I mean, it's a moderate amount, I guess, for critics, especially critics that are going to review the Mario Galaxy movie. So, but I mean, some of these reviews though, it would be more entertaining to watch your money flush down the toilet than watch this unimaginative, vapid, soulless cash grab. That's from the New York City movie guru. I'm sure Avi Offer looks like totally a guy who would be into Mario. Super Mario Galaxy movie will power up global box office and a vibrant sequel with amazing CGI action scenes. It's all fan service and admittedly flimsy plot, but that's okay. The eye candy is totally worth the price of admission. Pratt, Day, Glover, and Larson voice beloved characters going through IP motions. The best thing that I can say about the Super Mario Galaxy movie is that somewhere bubbling underneath its cinematic service, there's a film with an abundance of heart and humanity trying to run, dash, and jump its way into our lives. Let's see here. The Super Mario Galaxy movie falls into a movie sequel trap of adding characters in attempting to cover up a messy plot. The animated film has eye-catching visuals, but unimpressive story, reduced to generic chase scenes and battles. I mean, that sounds kind of dope. All side quests, no substance, this guy says. Fine for younger audiences, but will likely leave adult viewers wondering what the point of any of this was. It's a fucking Mario movie. Yeah, exactly. It's Nintendo games. It's kids games. Like that's all. Like people forget that Nintendo, the whole audience for them, for decades on end, was families and children. Like they were the party game, like console. They were the children's game console. Like you bought kids Nintendo. When I was growing up, kids who had Nintendos, it was like you graduated from a Nintendo to an Xbox or PlayStation, and then you played on Xbox and PlayStation. Like Xbox and PlayStation when you were like a kid was like your dad's console. And like you had to earn your way into that, all right? You had to age your way up into that, all right? Anyway, get ready to paint eyes into your eyelids so the kids don't catch on to your snooze, mom and pops. Damn. This is one of those movies that falls under the heading of parental duty for those who have younger children, especially those ensconced in gaming and the Nintendo world. Okay. So yeah, there was one review. I can't see. Let's see if I can find it here. There was one reviewer. Oh, fucking Grace Randolph. What does Grace Randolph have to say? Bowser, Princess Peach, and Yoshi are standouts, but still, yeah, of course, none of the male leads besides Bowser there are standouts, but still, these movies remain inaccessible to non-gamers. She means herself because she's retarded. Not really a movie with like story structure and character arcs, but more of a celebration of Mario games. Nintendo fans should be delighted. I think Grace Randolph, I also said that the movie was like she was likening Bowser to like the male, like manosphere or something like that. I don't know, man. Grace Randolph just fucking she just says shit. She's just yapping, man. She's just yapping. It's more of the same, but lesser. Kids will enjoy it and can give adults that nostalgia buzz, but the movie doesn't figure out much to do with its heroes. It's empty calories. Yeah, coasting solely on its IP. There's a flat, empty nothingness. Yeah, there was one guy on here. I don't think I can find it, but he was basically like, his review was like really scathing. Basically said like it was the worst film he had ever seen. Yada yada. But yeah, it's not. The reviews are not glowing. And I kind of thought this, right? I thought that if they don't give, ooh, somebody added a review. Now we're up to 80, guys. If they don't do something more, like it was going to struggle to get any kind of appreciation from the critics. And I think as a series, it's going to be maybe a bit of a letdown, especially for adults and maybe Nintendo fans. But does that mean that the inclusion of all these characters and putting them on screen and just doing a generic story still not enough to drive audiences in? I think it is. Also, I think it's been enough time that people have processed the first movie and like there's been time to miss it and miss those characters and seeing them on screen and getting a new story with the Mario Brothers that they'd be willing to accept a generic plot again. What a surprise, by the way. What a shock. The idea that you give some time and some space to let characters breathe and let movies breathe before trying to crank out content after content and getting people numbed and actually creating a situation where, you know, familiarity breeds contempt, and actually giving time between movies so people actually miss those characters, miss the movie, miss the story, that you can get away with having not the greatest stories being told with these kinds of movies. And I think they're still going to see success doing it to the tune of probably $1 billion+. I would easily $1 billion+, I would say. Because and take these reviews with a grain of salt too, because 45% from the critics. I mean, look at the original Mario movie, right? 59% from the critics, 95% from the audience. So clearly, there's a bit of a disconnect here, right? And that's with like over 250 reviews in, over 275. And it's still less than 60% rotten. So like, yeah, take the reviews with a grain of salt. Also remember there are a ton of movies that have massive critical success, not just on Rotten Tomatoes, but on a whole host of other websites and promoted through so many different other avenues that it almost doesn't matter anymore. And that even if the critics overwhelmingly praise a film, that doesn't mean that it's going to be good. It means that through an artistic, critical lens, the people who see films that way like the film more than they dislike it. A majority of them, basically. And these are people who, a lot of times, let their socio-political opinions affect how they view movies as well. So you gotta keep that in mind too. So, I think the movie is going to do really well. I think that it is going to be what I thought they couldn't do. But at this point, I think even that they can get away with again. And they're going to get away with it. And they're going to make a ton of money off of it. And they're probably going to get a Star Fox game out of it. Because people are going to see Star Fox. They're going to fall in love with the character again. And then we might have a revamped Star Fox franchise. We'll see. Star Fox was never a seller on Nintendo, though. So I always thought the character was cool. Then again, I never played any of the games. So, all right. So let's. You know what? This is going to be a movie-heavy show, by the way. Here. I forgot the. Real briefly, we'll talk about this. Kristi Noem, former Homeland Security secretary, or whatever. Apparently, her husband likes to wear giant boobs. Okay, that's really fucking weird. But yeah, I saw that today, and I didn't really know what to do with that information. I was taken aback. And it almost looked when he was wearing them like it was a joke. Like, I don't know. But I'm going to be real. I'm going to be real with you guys. There's not a lot of ways you can come back from that. There's not a lot of ways you can come back from wearing fake boobs. So, yeah. Sorry. YouTube's back end has been acting up for me. It's been weird. Anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at this Supergirl trailer. I've heard at this point, Supergirl has had 8 test screenings. That's a lot. That's a lot, by the way. The film is, I think, has a $200 million budget, which means that we're going to have to be sniffing north of $600 to break even. Nope. I'm feeling 350 with this one. I'm feeling 350. 350, maybe 4. Maybe 4 if you're lucky. But I'm feeling 350. But let's take a look at the trailer. See if it's ass or not. Now let's make sure the application is right. There we go. Okay. Come on. All right.
Hey, I was just touching base to
Hopefully
see
they
when
don't
you think
cook
you
me
might
for
be
this.
coming back. You know, I'm just worried that you're not going to find your stride here if you keep going off-world all the time,
He's
Kara.
sending her a message.
I'm worried you're not going to find your people.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, Clark. I have no people.
I'm an angsty teenage girl.
I'll miss wherever you are, buddy.
Fucking dog. The dogs, by the way, like, I can't do the dogs anymore, dude. Like the dog is annoying in way too much of the original Superman film, right? Let's put that just out there. And this is the thing. People who don't have kids and are overly attached to their pets, like, it's fine for you to exist. But doing a whole movie franchise where we infantilize the dog and, like, the dog ends up becoming the central, like, childlike figure of the movie, I don't think we can do it anymore.
As I walk this land.
I don't know if I'm gonna get copyrighted for this, but we'll see. Do you really want an alcoholic as your superhero? Crypto was a mistake. Should only be in cartoons, animated series. That's the thing, man. So like, alcoholic as your superhero. I don't know if she's alcoholic. I'll be fair. I didn't read the comics. Here's the thing you should know about me. Most of my comic book, like, superhero knowledge is based upon, like, TV series, animated TV series, and, like, movies that I've seen that have already been put through. I'm not a massive comic book guy. I haven't read comics since I was, 12. I haven't bought a comic since I was 12. I liked comics back then, but I got interested in other things at the time, like pussy. So, spent a lot of time chasing girls after about the age of 12. So, I can't really honestly say with the new comics, the way they changed her and all that, whether or not she's like an alcoholic or whatever, but she's definitely like, they want her to be, in this version, she's definitely supposed to be like a snarky teenage version or whatever. And she's angsty because, her world blew up. We get it. Everybody died. You don't have anybody. Okay. But, I don't know. It just feels unrealistic to just like abandon the one person that could have a connection with you in that time. I don't know. This is not the story I would adapt, but so far James Gunn hasn't adapted anything that we should adapt. Not from the comics Gunn's version. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's James Gunn. Like, James Gunn knows how to do one thing. He does that thing fairly well when he has the freedom creatively and lore-wise to do it, like Guardians of the Galaxy. Because the reason why Guardians of the Galaxy worked is because nobody knew shit about the Guardians of the Galaxy, all right? And there were multiple iterations of the Guardians of the Galaxy where they were essentially a Marvel experimental project, where they just changed the story of the Guardians of the Galaxy multiple times. This I know to be true because I've seen multiple breakdowns of the Guardians of the Galaxy over the years. So he had the freedom to be more open and expressive with what the Guardians could be. You can't do that with Superman. You can't do that with Batman. I would say you can't even do it with Supergirl. And he does quirky, odd family, hero team really well. And that's it. That's all he's got. As far as Crypto being in the like cartoons and comics, if you want, yeah, I think he's good as like one-off things or like an Elseworlds like story and stuff. In terms of him being just generally in like, I don't like dog superheroes. I don't like pet superheroes. Like that's like Disney movie, Pixar animation like bullshit. Like make those separate from all this. Like don't put that in this shit, all right? There's just some things that just don't come off very well. Like on screen in the superhero movie. And that's one of them. So like why? And this is another problem with Gunn. It's caring about the wrong details. It's caring about the cents and saying fuck you to the dollars. So all right. Let's see if I get
Crypto and I at least had each other.
yeah.
Honestly, I thought we were lucky.
What? Why is she so like she likes being alone? Okay, so we're mopey because we're alone, right? We're mopey because we're alone because everybody died, but we like being alone. So like I'm confused. Unfortunately, like always, DC always behind the trends. The superhero fatigue is real. Just like cowboy fatigue, space operas, etc. every decade. Okay, so yeah. Here's what I always thought. Marvel comes off better in movies. Real, like, live action films. And the reason for this is because Marvel's universe is based in the actual human world. New York City, Chicago, LA, all those places. In DC, it's a completely fictional version of Earth where you have places like Metropolis and Gotham and other places around the world, right? You have fucking pocket universe like city states and all that shit. And here's the way you can make that work and make it more realistic. You need to put these cities like in a place in the United States that makes it real. You need to have like Gotham, Pennsylvania or Gotham, Ohio or something like that. Along the Great Lakes or something. Make it a realistic place with like a glimpse and idea of a realistic history. You know, put Metropolis in fucking, I don't know, Delaware or Rhode Island or some shit. Or on the West Coast in like Northern California or something. It doesn't matter. Like, just put it somewhere and make it an actual place. Ground it in some kind of reality in our actual world so that we have a point of reference. Because people are looking for a point of reference, not just with their characters, but with their environment. Because that helps it makes it more relatable to you as a person if the world is more relatable to you. One of the reasons why I don't give a shit about the Avatar franchise is because it's about the protagonists are aliens who are not me, human, fighting against humans who are me, who are seen as the antagonists, on a world that has fuck all to do with me. And it's like, well, yeah, I'm going to root for the humans. Duh. Well, the humans are going to lose because they're the bad guys. Well, then I'm not going to watch the fucking movie. It's fucking dumb. Also, with the technology in the movie, like, glass the planet from orbit? Why did they never... Anyway, that's always been my thought when it came to like things like the Avatar series. And I know people are going to hear that and they're going to be like, well, you're saying that like, you know, SJWs are right and all that, you know, you need to be able to see yourself in movies. To some extent, a little bit, yeah, but not in terms of like race or gender. You need to be able to see yourself in terms of character. you know, who you are as a person. Points of reference to personalities. Points of references to places and things that you can relate to and understand. But anyway, yeah.
But look, almost by definition runs out.
Oh yeah, Crypto gets shot.
What can I do?
The Brickens carry the antidote on that person.
I saw this clip.
He has 3 days.
You cannot.
So, yeah. So we get review basically the entire story here of what Supergirl is going to be. Supergirl is going to be Warrior must go on a journey to obtain a MacGuffin to heal his dying child. It's a classic story, right? Except the child is replaced with a dog because we don't like children anymore. Hollywood doesn't like children. James Gunn doesn't like children. And it's a space movie that they openly have said is like Guardians of the Galaxy, featuring Millie Alcock as Supergirl. So,
Give up on me.
It's the crime of the Yellow Hills.
from a dude who will do anything James Gunn tells him to. I'm getting the warning. Heads up, we've detected video in your stream not belonging to us, blah, 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 blah. What does this say? Oh, that just tells me. Well, anyway, I'm still up. We'll see. Let's just scroll through the rest of this. Fight scene, generic fight scene 1, generic fight scene 2. Her fighting is so that's shit we see. Oh, we get more of Lobo. More of Jason Momoa as Lobo. All right. There's not. Oh, it's.
That's what I've been calling you.
Touche.
Okay. So we got to see a little bit of Jason Momoa as Lobo, which that's nice. But that's about it. I mean, I got a copyright warning, but to be fair, I saw all that I really needed to see in the trailer because the rest of it was just generic exploring and fighting with guys. And we got a glimpse of Lobo. So yeah. I don't know, man. It's not going to do well. Like I said, 350 absolute ceiling on this thing, I think, is around the $400 million mark. I think that's the absolute ceiling on this thing. Superhero movies are in decline in terms of their popularity. Girl bosses are definitely hated now. This is going to come off as a girl boss superhero movie with a bunch of tired tropes that James Gunn is known for, even if he's not directing the film. So yeah, I don't think this is going to do well. I will definitely not be in theaters when it comes out. Nobody will be. Because who cares? And this whole universe is probably going to get blown up in about a year because Gunn's contract is going to expire and he's probably going to leave. It's probably going to expire. He's probably going to leave. And if I'm going to be real, I think Campia might be right. Not in terms of he's so principled that he's going to leave right now and go work for Marvel again. No. I think in a year when his contract expires, he'll leave Marvel or leave DC go to Marvel, get hired on, get a hero's welcome return, and take over for Kevin Feige. And just have control of all that. But I think the difference here is that Warner Brothers was probably way loose on James Gunn. At Disney, those motherfuckers are going to have a stranglehold on his ass. They're going to be like, no, you make the movies the way we tell you to, final say. They're probably going to put it in his contract. And he'll be lucky to get that contract after the dog shit he's put out here. But yeah, the Disney execs, fucking, what's his name? Who ran the cruise ships and the parks and all that. And the lady who was basically the visual effects lady. The co-CEOs that run it now. They're probably going to have a tight leash on him when he goes back there. And he's going to go back there, I'm pretty sure. All right. So that was that one. Let's take a break between trailers so they don't really come after me. Why is there a dude doing a soy jack face over cotton candy in my feed? All right. Let's see here. All right. Let's talk about this big one. Be the man in charge of a company always being second fiddle versus a company that has been number one but has lots of restrictions. Tough choice. I don't think he's playing second. I mean, I guess DC is playing second fiddle to Marvel, but that's only because like they just can't get it right and they can't stick to an idea. And I think a lot of that has to deal with, again, originally they wanted to be something completely different. Then they wanted to be exactly like Marvel. Now they wanted to completely redo everything with the reboot. James Gunn is taking it over, and he's doing basically DC, the Guardians of the Galaxy. And it's just wholly not right. And really where they fucked up in the beginning was DC was so desperate to catch up to Marvel in popularity and have their own like hero team to compete with Marvel's hero team, when in reality they should have just got the hero movies right first. The individual hero movies right first. Because people would have turned out. They would have turned out for them. They would have turned out for a good Batman movie. They would have turned out for more good Superman movies. They would have turned out for just better movies in general. But the Snyderverse, taken over by Joss Whedon, just didn't do that. And was trying to rush into the Justice League. Which the Justice League is not something you can rush into. I would argue you could rush into Avengers quicker than the Justice League. But yeah. It's all contracting. You're still going to get Batman. Batman movies are still going to come out. Batman's always going to be popular. Spider-Man's always going to be popular. X-Men probably is always going to be popular. But that's really about it. I think Deadpool actually will probably also always be popular. As long as Ryan Reynolds is around to play him. And since he has to fund his wife's legal troubles, he probably be playing for a while. Anyway, let's go to this one. So, this was, let's see here. When was this? March 24th. When was March 24th? Was that, I don't know if we talked about it last time. March 24th was Tuesday. I don't know if I talked about it, but we're going to talk about it here. So Variety reported, a new Lord of the Rings movie is in the works. I did talk about it. Oh, okay. Good. Thanks for remembering. There's a lot of topics I go through, so yeah. But I did a little bit more research, so we'll just talk about this briefly. So Colbert's son, specifically about this, the actual writers. Colbert's son, zero writing experience, basically, except on Colbert's show. That's Peter McGee. Philippa Boyens was with the original OG writers, one of the OG writers of the original Lord of the Rings trilogy. She also wrote War of the Rohirrim, where she made a girl boss out of a character who doesn't even have a name in the story and was mentioned like roughly once in a throwaway sentence. She made an entire movie out of her. Did terrible. And Peter Jackson, man. So, like, here's the thing. Peter Jackson made Lord of the Rings, and he will always be, like, goated for that. Unfortunately for him, it hasn't been a whole lot other than that. It's been, he had the King Kong movie. He had Adventures of Tintin. Does anybody remember how bad Adventures of Tintin looked? With that weird fucking animation style. And he had District 9, I think, was his other big release. Which District 9, I get it. It has kind of a cult following now. But it definitely was not a success and hit when it came out. And I just don't think... I think when he went back and returned to doing The Hobbits, it was actually like sort of returning to what he knew to try to revitalize his career. Not that he would ever admit to that or talk about that. Because it's almost as if Peter Jackson needs Lord of the Rings like Lord of the Rings needs Peter Jackson. Because outside of Lord of the Rings, he hasn't really done a whole lot that's been successful. Like actually truly successful in a cultural relevance, in a monetary sense. Although I'm sure Kong made a bunch of money, but like not a whole lot. Because when Jackson made Lord of the Rings, everybody thought this guy was going to be the next Spielberg. Everything he fucking touched was going to be a fucking masterpiece. But it ended up being not that. And it ended up being he was a one-time guy. One-thing guy. Once again, why do I want people who literally wrote Get Your COVID Shot, the musical show, writing Lord of the Rings movie? Yeah, I mean, I don't think from what I know and what I've heard of Stephen Colbert from an ancillary opinion that he would pervasively work anti-MAGA, anti-Trump stuff into Lord of the Rings. I think he actually genuinely cares about the IP enough to not do that. In the same way that, like, I mean, we think about Rob Reiner. Rob Reiner was one of the most massive TDS, Orange Man bad guys out there in Hollywood. Massive liberal lefty, insane leftist. Made a whole lot of good movies that didn't have anything to do with his politics. Didn't really show any of his... I mean, the guy made fucking Princess Bride, which is an all-timer. A classic. And he did that with pretty much no politics involved. So, could Colbert do it? No politics involved? Maybe. He does have massive, massive TDS and a bone to pick with the Trump administration. But, I mean, he could do it in theory. Now, is he going to, if he does, is he going to openly make Sauron a Trump figure? No. But is he going to maybe work in some kind of human leader or whatever that's like Trump and roast Trump that way? Maybe. Is he going to try to do some kind of conservative group of people and make them look bad you know, as some kind of anti-MAGA thing message in the movie, maybe. But I don't know if he would. I'm honestly less concerned that Colbert is involved and more of the fact that it's a bunch of people who either have never worked with the IP or are coming back to the IP after failing multiple times outside and inside of it. Because let's not argue. Let's not talk about the last Hobbit film like it was some masterpiece. Okay, it was hot dog shit. It was Peter Jackson trying to do like 3 different Shakespearean tragedies all in one movie that had nothing to do with the Hobbit, which is a story, by the way, that could probably have been done in 1 movie, maybe 2. But the thing about that is, that's not as good for your legacy than doing 2 great trilogies, and it's not as good for your wallet in terms of cash grab to do only 1 movie when you can stretch it out to 3. Especially if you add a whole bunch of shit in there, like a love story between a hobbit and an elf that didn't exist. It's completely made up. Like the story is going to be completely made up. So, I don't know. I don't think it will be Lord. I honestly don't think it will be Rings of Power bad. I think it will be better than that. It might be the best thing that they put out since The Hobbit, but that's a low bar. That's a low bar. Lord of the Rings is Jackson's gifts and curse and cursed. Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing, is that everything he's done since hasn't been massively great, and people expected that out of him because of what he did. And I think he's actually capable of as a director. And I gotta say, stylistically, seeing his films might actually be a breath of fresh air again, because he has a very distinct style, which, by the way, I think is hindered with the overuse of CGI in the Hobbit films. And I get it. He used CGI in the Hobbit films because he got old and lazy and was like, I don't want to go through all that money and work and labor and all that to do the gigantic sets and all the armor pieces and clothing and all that. Let's just fucking CGI it. And he did CGI orcs and they looked hot dog shit. And I get the fact that you get old and you get lazy, so you want to cut corners. But his style makes it very apparent when you can compare it to the original Lord of the Rings to The Hobbit. It makes the difference in the quality look very apparent. The way he styles this style of filming movies. It's actually kind of old school epic films if you look at it. But yeah. So briefly on that, let's see here. Let's go to nope. Let's see here. All right, let's take a look at the Masters of the Universe trailer. So, oh, by the way, Supergirl trailer, I will say, let's see, get me on the right. Okay. Supergirl trailer, I will say, that's a pretty massive fuckingly positive ratio. Pretty massively positive ratio. Does that mean anything? I don't know. Let's go to the Masters of the Universe, though. Now this, let's refresh. See if... Alright, chill out. Not a lot of change. Okay. 162 downvotes to 3.2k up. I mean, this isn't like the main channel trailer too. It's a different, but I mean that's pretty positive ratio. I don't know where the actual trailer is or whatever that, but I don't know. Hopefully I won't get hit for this shit. Oh, let's make sure I got the audio right. Let's see here. Streamlabs search. Come on. No, that's not it. There we go. All right. Okay. Ooh, it's he's being dragged in as a prisoner.
I know most of you don't remember me, but I know all of you.
I will say, nobody seems to care that they race swapped that character, Man-at-Arms, with Idris Elba. Like, nobody seems to care. Which kind of goes to the point that, like, I think race swaps are okay if it doesn't change the actual connotations and, like, layout of a story. And it doesn't change the actual motives of characters or possible motivations of characters. And if the character can be done justice as a black character or as any kind of race. That said, I think still that only works for ancillary characters or secondary characters. I don't think that works well for things like main characters who have typically a set race, because people going in to see, I mean, if you had a He-Man who was black, who had dreaded hair, like, or came out looking like fucking Terry Crews in Idiocracy, like, people would be like, that's weird. I'm not sure I feel like this is He-Man. Like, even though he has the body and he'd have the hair to pull it off, but, you know, still. Race swaps are fine when it's
Even
not
though I was stuck light years away on
just
Earth,
because I want to. This is the Harry Potter one. Yeah.
I never stopped trying to get back home.
Everything changed since you left.
Can we stop for a second and notice that this trailer actually has a fucking theme to it? Like, that's wild, isn't it? Like, this trailer actually has a fucking theme. Fucking theme music. It doesn't have some quirky song, some pop song from the 60s, 70s, 80s to try to sell you on the mood. Like, it just has an actual epic theme to the movie.
It's all gone.
Something Gunn can't understand.
LOTR took my family. And he destroyed our world.
I will say the only problem that I have with it so far is that it has still that generic modern Thor Ragnarok look to it, right? Where it's just like a lot of bright flashing colors on muted backgrounds that have this sort of, I don't know, it's like a glaze to it. Like this shimmery glaze on everything. And Marvel movies started this, and you're getting it fucking everywhere now. Like, all movies are shot the same. All movies look the same. Like, in terms of their cinematography, the way they're shot, the filter that they had on. Like, say what you want about the early 2000s and, like, how shitty some of the trends were back then, because the trends were essentially piss filter or shaky cam. But at least they had trends. At least they had something that said it different. Man on Fire, I'm going to be honest, there's parts of it that seem a little bit melodramatic and kind of cringe and highly artistic at some point for a thriller action movie. But it still is artistically different and sets it apart. I love Michael Duncan's version of Kingpin in Affleck's Daredevil. I mean, yeah, it's a shame that we never got him as actual Kingpin, because he would have done really well as Kingpin. And that's a character that you can race swap, and it doesn't change fucking anything about the character. It'd be fine to do that. But yeah, I don't know. That's the only complaint really I have so far of it.
It's all my fault. I know how it feels to fail.
Like, look at that. It looks... It has that same generic Marvel look to it. Even fucking things like Mortal Kombat has this same look to it.
Take the sword. And when you fall, that's your chance to stand tall.
He's got the power.
I
have the power! Ooh, shit. Let's be real though. He does look kind of small for He-Man. They are right. He does look kind of small. I will say that they try to do a good job of like putting a baggy shirt over him and making him look smaller that way when he's supposed to be normal Adam, but like, I don't know. It still comes off as not as jacked. I mean, far be it from me to critique anybody's body. I'm a fat schlub, but you know. When are the quips coming in this revenge sort of? Yeah, it's interesting because they're leaning more into the drama side of it, at least in this trailer, which you would think if of any of the like old fantasy like animated TV shows and like action TV shows for kids, cartoons, that this is the one that they would make corny and kind of cheesy, but they actually aren't. And I kind of dig that.
The universe shall quake in my shadow.
This is my home. I'm gonna fight for it. But I can't do it without you.
Somebody wants to brawl.
I need every man, woman, or whatever that is.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know why he's...
You may have the power,
It's probably from earlier scene.
but you're too scared to use it.
Trust me. I know how to use it.
I can't tell if I like his voice or not. I can't tell if I like what Jared Leto is doing there or not. Which kind of just sounds like Jared Leto. Because, I mean, he's clearly not doing a classic Skeletor voice. I'll get you next time, He-Man. But he, which fun fact, I used to work with a guy who had a voice like that, and it was so hard to keep a straight face when I worked with him because he looked like his name was Dave. I was working as a delivery driver. His name was Dave, and he was this hunched over look. You know what he looked like? He looked like the old guy in Emperor's New Groove that's like, you know, don't throw off his groove and gets thrown out the window. He looked like that with a voice like Skeletor, so it was hard to keep a straight face working with him. But anyway, it's completely irrelevant to this. He's doing more of like a, I don't know, upper crust, like British accent or something. So, I don't know. Maybe it'll work.
You tell everyone that you're from another planet. It just makes you sound a little very crazy.
Weird editing choice, but okay. Yeah, I thought that was good. There were a few things in there that like I pretty much griped about them as we were going, what I thought. But I mean, am I gonna turn up for it? Maybe. It depends on what movies. When is this release? In cinema, June 5th. Oh, so that's actually pretty soon. I'll probably go see it when it comes out. I don't know if that's going to do well financially though, because I feel like there's not enough of a Masters of the Universe fan base there that the movie actually has to be substantially good, like substantively good. Like how do you fucking say the word? Substantively? It has to be fucking good, okay? Like have substantial amount of goodness. Anyway. Because if it doesn't, and it doesn't get good word of mouth, I think that's one of those movies that it could really benefit from good word of mouth. But if it doesn't, I just don't think. I don't think we'll get another. I don't think as a franchise it could go on or anything like that. Or it will be successful as a film in general. Let's see here. Okay, let's talk about... I'm going to make a video about this, but let's just talk about this in general. Okay. Let's see here. Fuck it. Let's go to the CNBC article. All right. Let's see if I can bring up. I don't know if I don't think I bookmarked some of these Chud's tweets. Some of these motherfuckers' tweets. But we're going to try to find them. Let's see here. Fucking... Oh my God, dude. Dude, did he? I just found this out in real time. Oh boy. Pozo got mad. I always knew this motherfucker had a glass ego. Right up there with the rest of them. Right up there with every... There's so many people on the right wing that they talk shit all the time and make a living out of talking shit on the internet and acting like they're edgelords. And they have glass fucking egos. This guy, Cernovich, who also has me blocked. Cernovich blocked me because he made a post talking about, unironically, by the way, how alcohol was called spirits because it was of the devil. And people drank them because they made you possessed or whatever. That's what they believe in medieval times. And it's still true today. And I just was like, hey, maybe, or instead, do things in moderation. And he blocked me immediately. Just immediately. Fucking Michael Malice. Michael Malice has a glass fucking ego. He blocked me because, to be fair, I don't know if it was this, but I dead named him. I used his actual name because, surprise, surprise, Michael Malice is not his fucking God-given name. And I said that he looked like he could be Zelensky's brother. That got me blocked. So, and he blocks people for making fun of him and roasting and stuff, but he goes on and he's a fucking edgelord online making fun of people. So yeah, glass fucking ego. This guy, clearly the same. And of course I'm blocked by, in the gaming sphere, I'm blocked by the generic people that typically block you. People like Melanie Mack, Razorfist, people like that. Razorfist blocked me because I called him a hipster, which is quite possibly the most hipster thing to do. So what was the final straw? I think it was this. I think it was that he said Lord of the Rings is white culture, and I retweeted him saying it's always about farming the engagement, because he said obviously that Lord of the Rings was like pagan or overtly pagan or something like that. Or it isn't overtly Christian. It's more pagan, if anything. And of course he got fucking trolled and just absolutely roasted. But I was in his replies in like one or two posts. That's about it. Basically call him out and roasting him. And I retweeted him here. And the reason why I retweeted him saying this was because this is the same guy who said who praised, and I think I mentioned this in his replies, that he was the same guy that praised, not House of the Dragon, Knights of the Seven Kingdoms, right? A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, for being white culture and how good it was. And he's a big Game of Thrones fan too. And it's like, you're a Game of Thrones fan. Actually, it might not even be this. It might be a reply that I sent to him once, because I don't know if I sent that reply after this. But it might be the reply that I sent once that was like, it was something of the effect, I don't want to look it up right now, but it was something to the effect of, you're a fan of Game of Thrones. And in Game of Thrones, they have a polytheistic religion, which is seen as like their version of Catholicism, but polytheistic, which is pagan in terms of modern, like, and it really old school Christian beliefs. They have another thing. They worship a fire god. People worship a fire god. People worship a sea god, the drowned god, right? And they worship like spirit trees. All that shit is pagan. Yet you say this world, a show that's placed in this world, in which one of the main character, very much so, is upstanding to and honors the aspects that are levied down through codes of conduct by those so-called gods and their religion as white culture. This is the thing. They're just yapping. They're just saying shit. And they don't think people actually that know this shit are going to listen. And then they have to act like that person doesn't exist and block them. Or they have to obfuscate in some way and try to make themselves look right. And they can't just admit, I'm retarded. I got that wrong. Which you should be able to do. I've definitely done it. Loudly done it. There's been parts, definitely farming engagement. Yes. Lord of the Rings was pagan. The creator of the series would like, yeah, exactly. So he got community noted, by the way, on that. That's why he got community noted saying that Lord of the Rings is not pagan. Like, no, there's the community note said there's specific like letters that Tolkien wrote where he said explicitly that like it was inspired by like Catholicism, parts of it. So I don't know, like, but that's funny. He blocked me. What a fucking loser. Oh man. It's always funny when it happens. The best though, honestly, blocks in the political world, that doesn't really like, it's whatever. Blocks in the gaming world, that's funny as shit. Dude, I want to put it out there. I have 681 subscribers on YouTube. Love you guys. You guys are great. Thank you for being here, listening to me just yap on about bullshit in the gaming sphere, movie sphere, as we're doing tonight, mostly, sometimes politics, stuff like that. Watching the videos, watching the shorts. You guys are great. Love you. But I have 681 subscribers on YouTube, which effectively makes me, in the grand scheme of things, a nobody. I have, like 335 followers on Twitter. Effectively a nobody. And these motherfuckers, sometimes I find out that I'm blocked by somebody randomly when I click on their profile. And I'm like, why are motherfuckers preemptively blocking me? I'm a nobody. Who cares about my opinion to you? Why should, like, if somebody with under 500 followers sets, honestly, if it doesn't really matter the follower count to me, but if somebody with like 30 followers or something said some shit to me, like, I'm going to be like, oh, who gives a shit about your opinion? You shouldn't give a shit about my opinion, the follower count I have. I'm just yapping. It's literally there for me to just comment, say shit. It's all. But yeah. That's also why I don't really get in fights with people on my like comment section on YouTube, because I'm just like, okay, you want to hate on my video? Hate on my video. It's fine. Go ahead. Call me gay. I don't care. Anyway. Because you don't follow insert theme of the month, that's why they block you. Yeah. I mean, there's definitely a lot of that. There's definitely, oh, he follows so-and-so, blocked. There's definitely political opinions just blocked. There's just like gaming opinions blocked. Oh, he follows, oh no, it's Alex, blocked. He follows, Geeks and Gamers, blocked. You're going to get that no matter what. But anyway, before we were distracted by that shit, ponies. Not the kind you ride. Although it feels like Sony is riding them. But from CNBC, Sony hikes PS5 prices by up to $150, citing pressures in global economy. Sony plans to raise prices of its PlayStation 5 console from April due to pressures in the global economic landscape. In the US, the PS5 disc version and digital edition will jump by $100. By the PS5 Pro price go up by $150. Sony is contending with surging memory chip prices. Yes, it's all AI's fault. It's all AI's fault. It's all AI's fault, and it's all market conditions, and it's all inflation. It has nothing to do with their profit ratios. It has nothing to do with coaxing pay pigs into getting out there and panic buying. Nothing to do with that. But what this really means here, boys, is that we have $900 PlayStations. We've reached $900 PlayStations because that's about the price now. $900 is the price of a PS5 Pro. We are reaching like parity with gaming PC prices. And the thing about that is you're not getting a gaming PC. You're getting a PlayStation. Call me crazy, but at $900 for a PS5 Pro, and you know the next console is going to be more expensive than that. So we're looking at probably $1,000, if not $1,200 PlayStation 6. I would not be surprised unless the AI bubble bursts fucking tomorrow. PlayStation 6 is going to be somewhere between, hopefully, $1,000 for you ponies out there, and maybe probably close to $1,200. Now, why would I ever spend money on that when I could get an Xbox Project Helix, which is going to have better specs, and it's a gaming PC? Yes, has a locked OS, all of that, but you're still going to have access to Steam games on it. Why would I spend all that? Why would I spend $1,000 to $1,200 on a PlayStation 6 when I could get a Steam machine, which is probably going to be like $800? All this is doing is making gaming PCs and Xbox and Steam look more affordable. That's what it's doing. Well, looks like luckily buying that PS5 during COVID is starting to pay off now. If only they had better games. Right about now, the PS5 should be $300. The Pro at $500. Yeah. Well, here's the thing. It used to be that old consoles would go down in price because they would be subpar technology now, right? But the problem is that they need to generate sales to be able to, from that technology, to afford the next jump in technology. And also, like, they're claiming the speed of inflation and the economy and the space of time between releases of console is not as wide anymore, that they can't justify lowering the price, so they have to raise the price to make up for the extra costs, because we're not outpacing inflation, which is fucking stupid. They're not outpacing inflation. What they're doing is not outpacing their profit margins, which that probably sounded really convoluted, but hopefully you picked up on it. Basically, they could not raise prices. They could lower prices, actually. Probably still move more units, but they'd lose some of their profit margin. Also, newer games would probably not be optimized for those consoles, which means that you'd have a limited amount of games to play on them, or optimizing new games for those consoles would cost a whole bunch of money. They don't want to do that, so they want you to move on. So they're going to price you out. And if they're going to price you out, you might as well buy the more expensive one. This is all stuff they think about when they think about pricing this shit. There are a lot of people that are using that. Basically, the excuse of every Sony pony out there has basically been, should have bought it earlier, pores. Which is a wild fucking response to have to prices rising on a console, pricing out people from getting a gaming console. And if you want to use that defense, fine. But also, alternatively, you could have saved your money and you added more to it and get something better now. That's my opinion on it. But, I mean, here's the thing. Whatever console you want to play on it. I do not give a shit. Have fun. That's what it's meant to be there for. But we've reached a point where consoles, which were originally meant to be intro devices to gaming, cheaper alternatives than buying a gaming PC, those have now reached almost parity with low-level gaming PCs. We can't be doing that. Consoles were never supposed to be luxury items. And for all those people who are out there using the fucking razor fist old ads and magazines defense, being like, see, look at this $199 Nintendo or whatever fucking bundle shit. Gaming always used to be expensive. Well, you also got a lot more for gaming, and the circumstances were completely different. You had actual physical cartridges that were built, so you actually owned your physical games. That actually took more money to produce. They weren't digital, you could just download them, which makes rising game prices, by the way, an absolute scam, because you don't have to make physical copies. So anyway, you get the idea. There also was a smaller market, right? You're selling less copies to a fewer number of people, so there's a rarity, so they're going to be more expensive to have to fund the next project, right? Lower profit margins too. So completely different set of circumstances. Expensive because of X circumstances in one time period does not equate to expensive in a more recent time period with most of those costs gone or adapted or adjusted for the better for the company. And they say Steam has a monopoly when their competition is just shooting their own foots. Yeah. Steam doesn't have a monopoly because if Steam has a monopoly, then Sony has a monopoly because they sell the most consoles out of everybody in the space. That's really what they're mad at. That people choose to shop on Steam more. Which is dumb. By the way, I'd have to say, Epic Game Store, not doing too well. All the other game stores, not doing too well. I would actually say, though, Xbox is kind of on the rise on PC. Mostly because of cloud gaming. And the idea that you can take your Xbox essentially anywhere. In your Xbox library anyway. I can play games on my actual physical Xbox downstairs in my living room. And then I can come up here on my PC and play it through cloud gaming or install it here on my PC. It's great. And it's good that you're able to do that. That is a sellable feature. And if you have a console that's able to do that while also having access to Steam and it has gaming PC specs, that's a pretty good sell. And that's what the Xbox Helix is. Fuck, that's what the Steam machine is. And the Steam machine is great because it's physically portable. It's half the size, the physical size of an Xbox Series X. So yeah. This is the future, by the way, that Sony does. Sony is only doing this because they think they can squeeze one more generation, one more generation of consoles out to get the Sony parties to buy up with the PlayStation 6. And then after PlayStation 6, then they're going to make their own branded gaming PC. And then it'll be the wars between branded gaming PCs. Steam, Sony. It will probably still be called PlayStation. Probably be called PlayStation PC, some shit like that. And Xbox. And Nintendo will be off in a corner, suing people for modding their games. And everybody playing on the Switch. Because Switch is just the system going forward. And if you're any of those companies that I mentioned earlier, fucking give up handhelds. Nintendo has a stranglehold on the handheld community. Steam Decks are great. Probably the best out there. ROG Allies are fine as well. If you want to spend $1,000 on a handheld that's made by Asus that has Xbox branding on it. But I think that Nintendo has a stranglehold. If anybody has a monopoly on any sector, I would say they have a monopoly on handheld gaming. And they're probably going to be the name in handheld gaming going forward. So you can play Cyberpunk 2077 sequel as janky as the first Cyberpunk 2077 came out on your Switch 2 or 3 or whatever the fuck they get up to. But anyway, yeah. Some of the cope, though, for all this, like, let's see if I can find it here. Yeah, that's what I was looking for earlier, too, was the absolute cope that was fucking Nib. Where am I? Okay. Let's see if I can find it here. Yeah. A lot of PlayStation bros were spurging out, but like Nib was some of the worst. Like, look at this, dude. Like, my timeline once again filled with people buying PlayStation 5 Pros. Getting ahead of the price increase is a no-brainer. Like, PC gamers, oh yeah, he had this tweet. Let's see here. Nope, that's not what I want. I want the replies. We're going to the replies, boys. Let's see here. Oh, I'm gonna have to go down. Sorry, this is taking a minute. Let's see here. Oh, bro. Where is it? Did I lose it? Before we talk about Nib, this is the shit they want you to do. This is the shit. We're both going into the replies. Better put on headset. Yeah, it's my replies, so you're 100% correct. Dude, this guy literally put "fuck you PlayStation" at Sony. And he bought first of all, what the fuck is up with your thumb, dude? What is that? But he bought a PlayStation 5, bro. And dude, why would you? This is what they wanted him to do. This is what they want you to do. Is to do panic buy shit like that. And there was... Yeah. This is retarded. What the hell is up with your thumb? That's just what I want to know, okay? Fucking Anna, that Star Wars girl, is putting feet pics out for free. That's wild. Anyway. Oh my gosh. There's so much. Oh yeah. He was trying to say nobody gives a fuck about those first party games. 3 of the 10 best selling PlayStation 5 games ever are first party exclusives. Exclusives sell consoles for said live service money. Hell, Ghost of Yotai outsold Call of Duty Black Ops 7 on PlayStation 5 in 2025 US. Let's take a look at that. So let's see here. That's not the one I want. This one. Ghost of Yotai over Black Ops 6. Take into account Black Ops 6, or not Black Ops 7. Take into account that Black Ops 7 is dog shit. Top 25 best-selling games on PlayStation platforms. Physical and full digital form total data sharing publishers and in digital leader panel. Ranked on dollar sales. So he had to pull in both the physical and digital. But that's his bait. What he didn't say, though, is you'll notice on here, top 10 best-selling PlayStation games, physical and full games for publishers in the digital leader panel, ranked on dollar sales. Black Ops 6, top of the charts. Number 3, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Number 5, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. 3 of the period 2020 through 2025 best-selling PlayStation 5 games. Of the top 5, 3 of them are Microsoft games. Xbox games. 3 of the top 5 best-selling PlayStation 5 games from 2020 to 2025 are Xbox games. One of them is a EA game. And the other one, number 2, is Marvel Spider-Man 2. That's from PlayStation. One of the top 5. So the same energy has someone who burns their favorite jersey because their favorite players does something wrong. Motherfuckers got your money already. Yeah, that guy was... Don't be like that guy. The reason Black Ops 7 is number 4, it's because it's multi-console. Of course, it won't do as good as first party. Well, yeah, you're selling it across the board. I mean, splitting it up, yeah. But even then, as a non-exclusive, like, to make it into that list, exactly, like, and but here, whoa, let's take a look. Let's go back up here. He had a people got really mad at me, by the way. This is an aside. ADHD brain at work. People got really mad at me because I said Gen X is the worst generation, and I stand by that. Worst generation. Pissed away the most financially successful years of the country. Let's see here. But he had a... Do I have to go back that far? Fuck. Oh, yeah. This is a tweet Nib originally had. February 6, 2026. But PC gamers told me PlayStation would quickly see the same staggering price increases PC have recently seen in RAM and SSD, GPU, etc. Because Shinobi said that Sony says its position to secure memory through 2026 intends to minimize the impact of ongoing RAM. So, oh yeah, this is when Moore's Law is Dead was yelling, they have gobs and gobs of RAM over at Sony PlayStation, right? And Nib was out here saying, oh, well, we got enough RAM to last through the crisis. Everybody was saying these business-to-business deals was going to cost rising prices. Well, they're clearly not going to do that. And then they turn around, and that's what they're blaming the fucking rising prices on. Is the cost of all this shit. By the way, his cope for this is basically, well, we lasted a few more months than the rest of you peasants. And it's like, how is that your counter argument? That you lasted a few more months before having to raise prices again? Like, how is that your W? How is that your way of wiggling out of this? But people were quote tweeting the shit out of this, laughing at him, basically saying, oh, prices aren't going to go up. Because that's what he's essentially saying there. But let's see here. This is the one that really needs to be studied here. Fucking, I don't know why Pio wants to be Nicola. Nicola famous for kissing his PlayStation. I don't know why he wants to be that guy. Because it's not a good thing to be. But look at this. A Pyrrhic victory is not a victory. No. I agree with that statement. Baby boomers fuck things up, but Gen X could have put a stop to it. But no. That's exactly, man. So, real briefly, I'm going to go full screen on this mini rant here. Why I don't like Gen Xers, my parents' generation, right, is because baby boomers, they were born into the wealth of the baby boom generation. I get it. But baby boomers actually did have to work for some of the stuff that they earned, right? My grandmother, baby boomer, had to work for all the stuff that she earned. Gen Xers didn't really have to do as much. They were perfectly set up. They had a track set up for them. They were the first generation that people were like, you go to school, you get good grades, you go to college, you go on to get a career. So you don't have to work like me, breaking your back in the factory my whole life. That was the first generation where they were kind of like this. To everybody across the board. Not just like more middle class families. But there was a sense that everybody could do it now. Everybody could go to college. Everybody could get a career that wasn't something to do with manual labor or service or something. And they grew up spoiled. And here's the thing. They think they are different and that they're a tougher generation, right? We're not a snowflake like you millennials or you Gen Z, you Gen Zers or whatever. Because we say gay and retarded. Okay. By the way, when I said Gen X was the worst generation, all the replies to that were angry Gen Xers calling me some form of gay and retarded. That was their comeback. It's like, okay, cool. You got anything more creative? But that's the thing. They were born to the wealthiest generation possible. Because not only did they have all the success in the 1950s, the boomers had solved the mini crisis, because if you go look at the actual financial like map of the health of the finances of this country, the like economic dip of the 1970s is like a little blurp, and that's it, compared to things like the Great Depression. So the boomers had basically solved that, and they had taken over control of government. They were decidedly in charge now, the generation in charge. Unfortunately, because they grew up so comfortable in the most wealthiest generation in existence for decades, all Gen Xers really wanted to do was, and this, by the way, this is a generic statement. If your dad or you or whatever out there were like, grew up in a hard household, worked really hard to get what you are, followed the classic path, did right, great on you. But generically, as somebody who has a lot of Gen Xers in my family, grew up with Gen Xers, they spent a lot of time partying, slamming cocaine, drinking, going out, dancing to fucking girls just want to have fun, right? We think about the 80s. It was all sunshiny and happy and everything's going to be great. Everything's going to be okay. That generation never really grew out of that. It's okay to have those. My generation definitely did. Dude, the 20 teens, early 20 teens, we were fucking wild. Out there dancing to Yeah by fucking Chris Brown. Okay? At our fucking proms. But most of us millennials growing out of that, trying to build businesses, trying to get better, trying to mend and build things, fix things, because the Gen Xers essentially never took the reins, right? There was a moment. There was supposed to be a moment in about the mid to late 90s, I would say, where Gen Xers, it was kind of expected that they take the reins from the baby boomers, right? And part of it is the baby boomers' fault because they didn't want to give up control. And there was a fuck ton of them. So they could vote to never give up control. But the Gen Xers, as baby boomers have aged out, still never really wanted to become responsible, try to deal with the political problems, try to care about politics. Here's a perfect encapsulation. There is a song from the 1980s, right? Jefferson Starship or Jefferson Airplane, whatever the fuck they called themselves. They changed their name like 3 different times. But we built this city, right? And we built this city, there's the lyric, corporations playing corporation games. Who cares? They're always changing corporation names. We just want to dance here. Someone stole the stage. They call us irresponsible. Write us off the page. Yes. That is the encapsulation of Gen X. Because they never really cared about what was happening in business, it seemed. They never really cared about what was happening in politics. It was all just wanting to have fun, wanting to have a good time, enjoying life, enjoying the experiences. But now, when they're in their 50s and close to their 60s and all that, now they've decided they want to be involved. They want to be part of politics. They want to tell us what to do, tell us what's right. Like my mom, who dropped out of high school in like sophomore year, who was trying to give me financial advice about going to college when I was like 18. See the disconnect here? See the problem? And it happens all the time. It's happening all the time, all over. And they want to be up front and center. They want to be the generation that takes over right now. But it's like, you pissed away your time. Now we have to be the ones to step up and fix it. We've been the ones stepping up and trying to fix it. And now you show up to the party being like, hey, I want to help. No. That's why they're the worst generation. They pissed away their responsible years and just let the boomers run everything way longer than they should have, and ended up fucking my generation, and it's probably going to end up fucking Gen Z as well. But who knows? That's my rant on all this. Anyway, back to ponies. It's not going to be much longer either. Because Nib, holy shit, dude. Look at this. PC gamers, notably Nvidia users, going at console gamers for buying hardware they deem priced too high and anti-consumer will never not be funny to me. Don't think there's a more ironically, laughably hypocritical, unself-aware and salty fandom, but let me explain why with actual data. And then he goes into the fucking AI, give me an answer to this response. And dude, look at this shit. Look at this shit. It just goes on and on and on. This is literally the definition of I'm not reading all that, but that's great for you, bro, or I'm sorry that happened to you. Like, what are we doing? Dude, go enjoy the hobby. Go play video games. Why are you on here doing this shit? Why are you doing this? Stop. By the way, I like how his account says multi-platform owning avid gaming fan. Sure. We can't tell what you're really on about. The classic by Josh, the editor. Yeah. Anyway. So, yeah. I think that's all the topics I'm going to talk about because I'm already at like 2 hours. So we're going to go into the doom scroll here. All right. Let's see here. Okay. Let's take a look here. Let's see what we got. The doom scroll has officially begun. Chick-fil-A fires entire staff after employees post viral video on social media. It's them bouncing their boobs. Okay. Chick-fil-A's kind of gone downhill. I'm going to be honest. In their employees, in their food, everything. Going to be real honest. Let's see here. Joe Vargas. Sigh. Actress responds reasonably. Chris Gore and his buddies have disingenuous fit. Rachel shat on the source material. Millie says all she can do is the best she can. Fuck her right. Did y'all even read? She didn't even insult you weirdos, blah, blah, blah. Rachel Zegler vibes. RNG, yep. This is because, and I didn't talk about this with the trailer. Essentially, Millie Alcock said, Supergirl star Millie Alcock knows she'll face backlash by simply existing as a woman in the franchise IP, Supergirl. We have become very comfortable having this weird ownership of women's bodies. I can't really stop them. I can only be myself. It doesn't have anything to do with your body. It's nothing to do with your body. But this is the cope. This is the cope we're going to run with. This is, they don't like me because I'm a woman. They don't like me because I don't fit the role, blah, 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 blah. They're going to hate on the movie because blah, blah, blah. No, we're going to hate the movie because it's shit. We're going to hate the movie and hate on the movie because it's shit. Rachel Zegler, her Snow White, she shouldn't have been Snow White, first off, because she doesn't look like Snow White. Period. I mean, it's in the name, Snow White. Sorry. Also, if Rachel Zegler wanted to play Esmeralda, I would be okay with that. But playing Snow White just never made any sense. But beyond Rachel Zegler, that movie was abysmal dog shit. Everything in it was terrible and a bad idea. Anyway, another Glass Eagle creator. Oh, Joe Vargas. Yeah. Angry Joe is, I think, gotten mad at me about a reply or whatever. He's always trying to fight with Jeremy, and Jeremy always hits him with like the I don't think about you response. Which means this audience score will be yeah. I think the audience score on Super Mario Galaxy is going to be very high. And I think the movie is going to do $1 billion plus. I'm not a big DC fan. Is Lobo some kind of space biker vampire? I mean, kinda. He's like he's an alien. He's what is it? Mercenary, bounty hunter. That's what it is. Erica Kirk responds to Drewski with a skit of her own. Yeah, this is quite clearly fake. In an interview for her upcoming dramedy, The Drama, Zendaya shared that she may take a break after this year with a long list of upcoming projects including Euphoria Season 3, Spider-Man Brand New Day, and Dune Part 3. I hope so. I know she's quoted, I think, in this article where she's like, I hope people don't get sick of me too fucking late. We already are. And, bro, I don't know. Tom Holland is like an inverse Patrick Mahomes, right? Where like Patrick Mahomes got married to that Brittany, whatever the hell name she was. Brittany Mahomes now, I guess. But he got married to her, and like she was his high school sweetheart, and you're like, dude, clearly with the amount of money you make and the talent you have in like football and all that, you could have married a whole lot better. You could have done a whole lot better. And it's one of those things where like Tom Holland, I feel like this is his Brittany Mahomes, his like high school sweetheart, where he's like, he's dated her and he's been with her so long they're just kind of getting married. Like it's weird because I feel like he could do a lot better. And I don't know. I'm so tired of her face, man. I'm so tired. Look at these dude. I wonder how much footage they had to comb. To find these different expressions of her, because she has the same fucking expression on her face 90% of the time in movies, which is just like turd face disgust. Like she just smell this face right here. Like she just smelled something stanky. But I hope she does take a break. I hope she takes a break and then she goes and has like a kid with Tom Holland, and like he retires from acting and doesn't become the alcoholic that he kind of seems like he might end up being if he keeps doing acting. And hopefully she retires along with him and they just live a happy life and escape Hollywood. I really mean that for them. I mean the best for them. Yeah. To be fair, though, she kind of strikes me as the kind of woman that doesn't want kids. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe she does want kids. Haters will say it's AI. I'm not watching a 3+ minute video. Lesbian Mike Myers. I mean, I feel like Chris Gore would find that funny. We're challenging it. See you in court. Trump on executive order on mail-in voting. I don't know how it can be challenged. We will appeal it if it is, but I don't see how anybody can challenge it. I don't see how they can challenge it. I think that's his executive order to like stop mail-in voting. Yeah, because the SAVE Act is not going to get passed. So Zendaya is the female version of Pedro Pascal. We can't escape them. I mean, there are a lot of actors that kind of go through that. And like I said, familiarity breeds contempt. If you got a person around you all the time, you kind of just end up hating him. That's why, like, if you're going to get married, married somebody that you are really good friends with. and that you can just be around, like just sit around with. Because like, and I would definitely say, I know there's some people who are super religious who are like, hey, don't live in sin. Don't live with somebody before you get married with them. No. Live with someone before you get married to them. Because you need to live with somebody, because you need to know. When you're dating somebody, you are dating the best version of that person. You are dating the representative of that person. You are not dating the person. When you live with somebody, they cannot fake it for that long a time. The mask will fall off. That's when you're going to find out things as major like, is this bitch crazy? Is this man potentially abusive? Do they have a dark side to them? Do they have a lot of secrets they're hiding? Or you're going to find out small idiosyncrasies like, do I hate the way this person brushes their teeth? Am I going to be okay with planning out sexy time? Because you are going to have to plan out sexy time eventually. Especially as you get older and you have busier lives and all that. Am I going to be okay with this person planning out sexy time with them, then going into the bathroom right before and dropping a massive fucking deuce, then coming back and still be down for it? Am I going to be okay with this person like walking by me and just totally ripping ass and still be attracted to them? Am I going to be okay with this person pranking me and throwing a giant rubber spider or some shit on me? Like that kind of stuff. Because that's the kind of stuff you need to know if you're going to be okay with this person. It's the same wherever you look. When someone is shoved down our throats, we will naturally be against it. Wrestling is a good example. Yeah. And of course, anybody that's forced into your life, forced for you to like them, there's a natural resistance to that. Especially amongst countries that highly value individualism, like the United States. Because we are an individualistic nation. We have a tendency to, when people or a group of people tell you you need to like something, to go, no, fuck you. I'm not going to like that. Because you didn't get to make the decision on your own that you like that. That's important, man. And yeah, you're going to have people till the end of time that just get blown up in the industry and then they're everywhere. And interestingly enough, when you keep some mystery about you and your opinions, people want to see more of you. Typically, when you don't, people don't. Because they tried to force and it typically doesn't work out because they try to force Rachel Zegler on us, and her opinions were so loud and all that everybody basically turned on her. By the way, unironically, I see Mighty Keef here in my Who to Follow. Mighty Keef put out 3 banger videos in a row that were actually good gaming opinions, and I fucking hate that. He has terrible, absolute libtard political opinions. Terrible political opinions. And a lot of times I haven't agreed with his gaming opinions either. But the last 3 videos that he's put out have been awesome. They've been funny. They've been accurate. They've been correct in his opinions. And I don't know what to do with myself about that. I don't know what to do with myself. Anyway. What the fuck is this? Rebecca video in the hotel was because I was too cold. Why am I getting Why am I getting e-thought content? It's not like quartering e-thought content, thankfully. Half of the comments on my Rebecca cosplay are men upset because they think I'm a boy, and the other half are men upset because I'm not a boy. Well, I mean, you kind of do look like a boy. And it's good that you're not, because that'd be gay. However, I wouldn't be upset if you were a boy. Why are you gay? Anyway. Hey, man, sometimes you just gotta tuck the sack back, Anyway, a 22-year-old woman named Kira Cousins went to study at another university far from her family. She was married to someone, got pregnant by him, blah, blah, blah. I don't give a shit about this. Who the fuck is this? Why am I getting random shit? Well, hold up. It looked like her body was backwards there for a second. So that got me. Donald Glover says he will be surprised if he isn't nominated for an Oscar for voicing Yoshi. I completely forgot that he voiced Yoshi. I don't want to say it's Daniel Day-Lewis-esque, but it's in that range. Yeah, he's quite clearly joking. PlayStation fanboys still going to find ways to excuse hating on PC and mods because they don't know actual greatness. Some gameplay from The Last of Us 2 multiplayer mod in a normal level, so environment progress, but Last of Us 2 multiplayer. Fucking Nicola. Janky looking garbage with clipping. What? He had finished the game and said, oh my gosh, dude. God, he posts like a 15-year-old girl. Steam Machine will be cheaper than a PS5 Pro. That's not a spoiler. Specs, okay, yeah. South of Midnight comes out on PS5. Listed it. Bro, this dude played South of Midnight, man. Like, is that really all you need to know about him? Like, God, this guy, he eats so much. He sucks so much. PlayStation, man. It's cute to think Steam isn't about to blast itself in the face with, yeah. I don't know why he... $900 Grace Ashcroft. This is some DLSS5 looking shit. If the conspiracy theories are true, the alphabet people have taken out 90s and 2000 tomboys away from us anyway. Yeah, I mean... A good tomboy is, I prefer my feminine women, but a good tomboy, there's something to say of, I don't know. Something to say for a good tomboy. $900 Grace Ashcroft. It's not worth it, bro. Why is he posting this shit like he's fucking Grums or Yorch Torch? Like this is a... Bro. Anyway. Kim Belair quits. Sweet Baby Inc. is over as Kim Belair exits the company amid controversy. Leaked clip raises questions about Kim and the company's failures. Like, you know what's wild about Master TDS? Master TDS used to be like a giant, like anti-wokey content creator guy, and he still is, and that's fine. But he used to be the kind of guy that was like retweeting Grums all the time. It was like buddy with Grums and all that. And I think he got aware of like the situation with Ember and like was made aware like all the bullshit going on with some of the anti-woke community. So he's like way more based and cool. And it's like, nah, these guys are shitbags. It's been good. Governor DeSantis is calling for the immediate impeachment of Judge Tiffany Baker. Judge Baker released a child, you-know-what, who was a known danger to society. While out on bail, the you-know-what did you-know-what and also unalived I can barely fucking read this post. Jesus shit. He was a bad guy that did bad things to people, underage people, and this lady let him out. I actually met TDS and his wife. They're very nice people. I'm sure they're very nice. Like, here's the thing. It's the internet. Most of these people are probably really nice. If I met Nicola in real life, he's probably a cool dude. If I met Nib in real life, he's probably a fine dude. We can argue online on the internet. And sometimes online arguments cause you to do shitty things. But most of the time, the vast majority of these people, probably okay to hang out with. Probably normal people. Because most people don't say the shit that they say online to actual people. Yeah, I even think about that way, like, I think about that way about like Simu Liu, who in his replies at one point essentially challenged me to a fight. Because I said something about his acting career being dead because he was on Broadway, and he said, come say that to my face on opening night of the show, whatever, blah, 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 and in New York City, and blah, blah. I was like, no, because I have a job and a family. What the fuck are you talking about? But essentially, it sounded like he was like, hey, come say that to my face, motherfucker. Like he was going to fight me or something. And no. But you know what? You know what I hate about Simu Liu and can't stand? His gaming opinions and the games that he likes are really good. He is a racist fuck. Like, legitimately racist against white people. But his like, the games that he likes, the video games that he likes, are really fucking... He's really great taste in video games. And it pisses me the fuck off. And to be honest, if he and I probably, like, hung out and we just talked video games, just talked life or whatever, probably be cool to hang out. Seems like a nice guy. His mannerisms, the way he talks to people, when he's not being racist to white people. So yeah, and he'd probably be not racist to me because I'm a quarter Asian, so like I'd be considered one of the good ones, you know. Lord Botha is definitely not nice. No, I'm an asshole, dude. Straight up. Ask my work that I consistently stay late for. How terrible of a person I am. Let's see here. Let's go back to this. All right. The Bulls are gay. Dude, Luke Rudkowski, man. Like, this is a guy, I'm sure I've said it before. I think I said it last stream. But this is a guy who, like, used to have real opinions, realized that promoting his real opinions online, he was, like, banging his head against the wall, and just said, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to use my opinions to make money, like my mentor Tim Pool did. He wasn't really his mentor. His, I don't know, friend, colleague. But yeah. Marco Rubio finding out he has to be Kristi Noem's husband. Yeah, the Kristi Noem's husband shit is weird. Like, I get, like, the idea of being a cross-dresser is just weird to me. T people get all these days, months, and events about mutilating their body and being degenerate, but veterans barely get a day to be recognized. I mean, I guess veterans kind of have like 2-3 days. They have Veterans Day, they have Memorial Day. I don't know. I think President's Day is kind of like a Veterans Day. 4th of July, you know. Newly elected mayor of Kanoe in Southern France has removed the EU flag from the town hall immediately after taking office. Hey, it's base as fuck. Also, she's pretty cute for French girls. French girls, hot take, French girls, actually not that pretty. They're very like, they have like very angular noses, but like square faces too and all that. And I don't know. Their cheeks set high and all that. Millie Alcott's Supergirl dating history. Who gives a shit? Supergirl trailer looks like the fake movie from the end of Ryan Gosling's Fall Guy. It does actually. That's wild. That's wild. Marenge Cabrutus. This is another guy who made a big name of himself off of DEI Detected. And it's fucking nothing burger. They tried to make a streaming career out of that. They didn't go anywhere because he wasn't entertaining in any way or informative in any way. Simu is in the same category as Keith, for example. Shitty takes on something, but good on others. You'll never agree with someone 100%. Yeah. Politics is kind of a big one because it's, debates over the philosophy of how you live your life and others should live their life and how society functions and all that. So it's a hard thing to get over, especially when it's so pervasive in society now. But, if you can go beyond that, which we used to do, but social media has made that almost impossible now. Why are there no Gen Z sitcoms? Gen X had Seinfeld, Friends. Millennials had The Office, New Girl, and How I Met Your Mother. Gen Z has also The Office. Because why does Gen Z not have sitcoms? Because sitcoms are made by network television. Nobody young watches network television anymore. They don't want to sit through commercials. They want to watch actual TV. They watch streaming. It's as simple as that. Sitcoms are made for Gen Xers now. That's the truth of it. The same way that like radio programs and talk radio was made for boomers originally, because people weren't necessarily listening to the radio in droves anymore. 2.5 billion years for that geological formation to take shape, and here comes some idiot to shoot a little video for social media. I guess. Here's the deal. At the end of the day, it's just dirt. It's just dirt. It's just dirt. Oh yeah, I saw this from Mall. Oh my god, dude. Why does she look like why does she look like a little person? Why does she look like a dwarf? That is a terrible angle. SpongeBob. I don't give a shit about that. Booby reveal footage. You remember that? I've seen that video. It's bullshit. No way, dude. Millie Alcock really does look like Sid from Toy Story. I don't think so. I don't think so. She's not that bad. If we count streaming, Gen Z only have remakes of Remember Berries, shows that when they want to remember the 80s and 90s. Yeah. Or 70s with that 70s show and all that. They don't, like, here's the thing. They don't have really a whole lot of culture besides memes. Because, like, I think that's why gaming is so prevalent in culture these days, is because it's the one thing in culture that young people are still interacting with constantly. And the memes that come out of that. So that's why gaming has sort of taken over culture. It do be that way. Her. He's probably thinking of other girls. Him. I hope that Japanese guy gets to try American barbecue. Yeah, Japan, like, they changed the algorithm. So, like, if you're not aware, on X, you don't have X, don't fuck with X, whatever. They changed the algorithm to where now Grok interconnected with X just auto-translate. It just auto-translates languages to whatever country you're based in. So now the algorithm is adjusting and they're promoting more content from foreign countries that at least that you still allow to be seen, because you can filter that now by country, what country's content you don't want to see. Pour one out for our Indian bots. But the first one that really got promoted that people saw was Japan. And people discovered really quickly when this happened that Japan people really love the United States, love American barbecue, love American cowboys, and they're also very racist. Very, way more racist towards black people and foreigners, especially from the Middle East, than the United States is. And yeah, there was a bonding moment over all that. And let's just say that Japan and the United States have never been more high on each other and closer allies. So, and let's be honest, it promoted Japan first because Elon wanted Japan to be promoted first in the algorithm because he's a Japanophile. Let's see here. That's one hell of a racist thumbnail, LOL. Reminds me of someone else's non-racist thumbnails. Diss you. I mean, I guess, I don't know if this guy is being like sarcastic here or not. But anyway, one of the most terrifying horror movies you'll ever see. I do not care. Advanced plant-based protection is for the future. I don't really care. Climate change is... Harold Ramis on why he cast Elizabeth Hurley as the devil in Bedazzled over Uma Thurman. I was told by Madonna's agent that Madonna is the devil, which is why she'd be perfect for the role. But I was thinking of who was the baddest, most beautiful woman in Hollywood, and I came up with Elizabeth Hurley. My guy, you are correct, because Elizabeth Hurley, damn, bro. Elizabeth Hurley back in the day could get it. She's still attractive now from what I think I've seen, but she was fine. I've never been more ready in my life. I do not care. They just added the Saw movies to Netflix. Yeah, I do not care. Not a fan of the Saw movies. I got curious about the process of how the stone statue is made, so I relentlessly monitored it from start to finish. There's a stone statue that gets made, huh? This seems tedious. So basically Crimson Desert. I have been playing more Crimson Desert, which, by the way, they hit 4 million sales. And I will say, it is getting better. I'd say it's about a 7 out of 10. I think that's where it's going to stay. Secret double life of Christy Gnome's cross-dressing husband, Brian, the pouting, busty bimbo photos, and trove of explicit images. What the fuck did I just read? Well. Yeah, I don't care. How to blank your movie in the crib. Yeah. Christy Gnome. That's a good one. That's a good one. Do you agree with Keith's video about Crimson Desert? I actually do. I thought that was one of his banger videos that he just released. Keith's video about Crimson Desert, where it's like it's the best worst game and also the worst best game that you'll play this year, like it's 100% true. Because like, is it going to challenge? Is Crimson Desert going to challenge like anything like GTA 6 this year for Game of the Year? Absolutely not. No doubts in my mind anymore. GTA 6 is going to be Game of the Year. But is it a good game once you get through about a very thick layer of digging into it? Yeah, I think it is. It is not a game that is heavy on story. If you are expecting a very strong narrative experience, you're not going to get that. You're going to get side quests that feel like they go along with a strong narrative experience, but they're not. There simply is not. There's little nitpicks. The lip sync on characters is just awful. The controls are janky, and there's way too many of them. I honestly think there's just too many elements in the game. I think it's a game that teaches that less is more sometimes. And hopefully if they make another one or a sequel or do something to it, they'll take that lesson. I will say what Pearl Abyss has been really good at, though, is listening to player feedback and very, very rapidly getting patches out to change things and tweak things to where it becomes a more tailor-made experience. And I think that when they're done tweaking and patching all that, they're going to have a really good game on their hands that's going to last a long time. People are going to play it and keep playing it more often, and going to bring in different generation of gamers to play it. Because I think it has strong longevity in that people 5, maybe even 10 years from now are going to still be able to go back and play that, depending on advancements in technology, etc. But yeah, that was one of his like 3 videos, I think, that he put out. His DLSS 5 video was great. It was fucking awesome. I thought it was really funny. At the end where he's just like, you're right, DLSS 5 is an option that you can just toggle on and off whenever you so choose. All right, good. For now. Wait, what? Yeah, that was good. A film for Nintendo fans. All right. I think we all knew Mario Galaxy movie would get bad reviews, right? It's a film for us lifelong Nintendo fans and our kids, not critics. I don't know. Furtanga, I feel, wants the Mario movie to be bad just because for his content, he can make better content out of that or more content out of that. Because I think Frit would be the first one to say that he has mined Nintendo hate. He's mined the shit out of Nintendo hate to the tune of being like 120,000 subs. When I knew Furtanga when he was like under he was like at 50K subs, 60K subs. I can't remember. Definitely under 100K. And he was making like videos where he was just putting generic video gameplay in the background and ranting about how Razor Fist or Melanie Mac were fucking fake and gay. So, and I definitely watch that content because it's good and true content. This is who invented... I don't think that's real. I think that's a fake person. I think this is AI of like Danny DeVito's Penguin. I don't believe this is real. Fans campaign surges. Oh, by the way, I did hear that they're putting Dave Chappelle. I don't know if this was an April Fool's prank, but I saw a thing where they were like, Dave Chappelle's skins are coming to Call of Duty Black Ops 7, which, if true and not an April Fool's prank, it's cooked. Like, Call of Duty is cooked. The whole idea of we're going to get back to realistics and basic. No, that's not. Master of the Universe. Yeah, Masters of the Universe is great. 10,000 light. I mean, that's pretty good. Hey, Grok, try to recreate. Yeah. This is a new thing, by the way. This whole, like, pose thing they're trying to do. Trying to get them to show you their pussy. A new game called I Am Jesus Christ comes out tomorrow on Steam. You play as Jesus and do Bible miracles like walking on water, healing the sick. It follows his life from baptism to resurrection. Oh, so it's a Dan Bass game. Since a lot of you were asking, some cosplayer. What is it called? I Am Jesus Christ. Alright. Battlesmiths is a turn-based strategy game. Looks like mobile shit. Who had a better trailer? I mean, unironically, and not because, like, fuck Superman and fuck DC. No. Unironically, like, Masters of the Universe trailer was better. Anyway. Well, we're over 2 hours and 30 minutes. I think this is a good place to call it. Yeah, shout out to Brie Larson, by the way. What a glow up. What a comeback. I think she's making films in genre stuff now that she's actually passionate about, cares about, and wants it to do well, and cares about actually turning out a good product. Where Marvel, I don't think she actually cared about Marvel. Was never a Marvel fan or anything like that. Anyway, I think this is where we're going to call it. Pretty good stream. 2 hours and 30 some odd minutes. We'll be back with videos intermittently and shorts and all that. Try to turn out more content. I do have a busy week this week. I'm going to see Mario Galaxy actually on Thursday. And then I have like a family night that night and all that. Plus the gaming stream that I'm probably going to do late. And tomorrow is basically my only day off. So I'm going to have to crank out content that day. That my only day off where I don't have something that I have to do like Thursday. And then like Friday I'm back at work and all that. So yeah, busy times. But still have it out. I need to make the next review video, which is Dispatch. So that's going to come out soon. Hopefully. I've been trying to make them monthly. I don't think I'm just going to be able to do them monthly. I just don't think I'm going to be able to. But hopefully get them out bi-monthly or as soon as possible. So yeah, videos intermittently. Anybody who catches on the VOD, appreciate you watching as well. Live viewers, always love you. Nintendo fan, eh? I'm not a big Nintendo fan, but I didn't play Nintendo growing up, to be honest. I think the last Nintendo I had was a Super Nintendo. Yeah. Mostly played like Star Wars, the Star Wars video game on it. But yeah, my daughter loves Super Mario. She loved the first movie, so we're going to go see the second movie. And but appreciate all the live viewers. Jack of all casuals in the chat. Thank you. Always keeps the conversation going. Makes this chat makes the experience smoother and the stream smoother, I feel like, when somebody is here talking. So I appreciate it. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And we will be back Thursday for the gaming stream and all that later. Until then, have a good night.